Minister Kahlon, welcome. We are delighted to have BC's Minister of Jobs, Economic Recovery and Innovation join us for an episode of Corner Stories, where we look at the contribution of the convenience industry and how we can continue to work with government to grow both our industry and the province's economy. So we're going to jump right in here. And the first question I've got for you is, do you have any memories or reflections on the role that small businesses like convenience stores have played in your life?
Well, thank you first off for having me. It's my pleasure to be joining you today. And you know, I do so many memories. You know, my family ran a restaurant in Victoria, BC for almost over a decade. And you know, it was, when I say family, it was family. You know, my mom was cooking and my sister was busting tables, and I was, you know, my talents were special, so I was washing dishes. My mom thought really highly of my skill set. So, and the occasional prep cook at times as well. But, you know, I think I have fond memories of that because we really operated with all the little businesses around us. And so we had convenience stores, we had, you know, a little grocer nearby, and everything we bought was from within our neighborhood. And it worked really well. We all supported each other, and we realized that if we're spending dollars and we spend it with our neighbors, it just helps everyone. And so you know, I have many memories of running to all these little shops and picking up this, picking up labels, picking up this, and yeah, those were definitely good memories, and a great deal of respect for all the small businesses that are operating these businesses. They're, you know, they're usually vital to their communities around them.
Exactly. That just sounds like the quintessential Canadian small business story.
Yeah.
So that's really great to hear that you have that personal background and really understand what it takes to, and how difficult it can be, right, to run a small business, and that notion of community that you talk about. And I think that's really, you know, what we're all about is convenience stores. You know, there's a convenience store in just about every community across the province. And, you know, we've been there as an essential service throughout the pandemic. So speaking about the pandemic, certainly I'm sure you've heard from, you know, a number of different businesses. One of the biggest challenges right now, still today, is the reliable access to PPE and outfitting stores so that they're COVID-19 compliant. So can you talk a little bit about some of the programs that your government is considering to support small businesses in making these changes?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and let me just say how amazing our small businesses have been in this pandemic. You know, the changes that have been made to ensure that people can access safely the stores and be able to shop in a safe way. And you know, what we're really seeing is through the pandemic, that especially our convenience stores, that there's a comfort for people to go there instead of the bigger box shops where there's lots of people. And so, you know, we're definitely seeing a shift where people now want to go to a place that they feel more comfortable in and that they've known as part of their community. And so we've launched a couple of programs. We launched our small and medium-sized business recovery grant program, which is up to $30,000 for small businesses that need money, that have seen at least a 30% drop in their revenues, but need the money to transition, whether it's buying new equipment for safety, or new equipment just because they see another opportunity for their business to pivot. And so those dollars are available. I strongly recommend all your members to apply. Recently, we changed the program and made it much easier for small businesses to apply, where now you can actually use your own bookkeeper and your own accountant to build your recovery plan for you when you apply, and we will pay them directly so that you don't have to pay them. And so we heard that a lot of, you know, businesses prefer to use the person that they're, or the company they've been using forever, and so we made that adjustment, and that's been great. And we also have a marketplace for small businesses that are trying to access the PPE. You know, during the height of the pandemic, there was a move by governments to monopolize all the PPE because we needed to ensure that we had it available for our critical infrastructures, our healthcare facilities, our senior care homes, because we were trying to keep people alive. But then since then, what we did was we created a marketplace, which is a central point of contact now, because there's so many people providing it and it's hard to know what's good and what's not. This marketplace now is available for everyone to go and able to purchase from businesses that are sanctioned, and many of them are here in BC.
That's fantastic. And that's, really great initiative on your part. And, we too were certainly at the outset contacted by a number of our members. And we had a number of suppliers reaching out to us as well. So we did the same thing. We just really, at that point, it was just a matter of connecting people so that people could get their hands on this, very precious commodity. It was really great to hear you sort of signal and talk a little bit about how, you've sort of seen that shift. And, it's one of the things that as convenience stores we're really proud of is, the way that our customers trusted us to make sure that we were protecting not only their health and safety, but of course the health and safety of our customers and our staff. So that is something that we've really continued to focus on. And I think generally, obviously more specifically to convenience stores, but what other sort of have you observed about how small businesses have reacted to the COVID-19 crisis? And, do you think some of those things have changed sort of forever?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a lot of thinking that we're doing right now on what has happened over the last year mean for going forward. There's certainly been a big shift to online purchasing, which we know has got upsides and some downsides, especially for some of our small businesses. And we know we launched a program recently called Launch Online, which is up to $7,500 for small businesses to be able to create an online presence and to set up their e-commerce and do some advertisements. And so the challenge for us right now is, as we look at the changes we've seen, in particular for convenience stores, is as I was saying earlier, it's become a place of comfort for many people, and people wanting to avoid big crowds and wanting to be able to go to somewhere where they have more trust. Often what happens is, and I speak from experience, is the local convenience store is the person. You have a relationship with them, and when we say, and we've been encouraging strongly, buy local, shop local, go support your local business. That's who we're talking about. That person that because that's the person that's going to be sponsoring your kid hockey team and giving you a scholarship funds for whatever school program you're running, or sponsoring the local picnic. And so, as a government, that is where we're going to be putting a lot of energy and focus on, is building local economies and supporting the local purchasing, because I think there's a real shift in certainly the next generation. We're seeing a shift now to online and people buying, but I think it's going to be really closely followed by, where's my money going? And who's benefiting from my dollars? And the younger generation in particular are starting to think about that. We're seeing a change in buying habits, where now they want to know, is this environmentally friendly? I'm buying this chicken burger. Well, where was it grown and where was it made? And same with, where am I spending my dollars? Am I spending my dollars that's going to stay in my community, or is this dollar going to go to some international company that maybe won't have the same care for my community? And so these are all things that we're monitoring, and certainly will have an impact on many of your members.
No, that's terrific to hear, because it's absolutely sort of one of our kind of core values, if you will, as an industry, that whole notion of supporting the community. And as you talked about, there's so many different charities, and, we've tried in the past to try and, assemble all the different, if we were to sort of calculate what are each of our individual members at the local level are contributing and supporting, and particularly during COVID, I mean, the way they've stepped up to help emergency responders, to help food banks, to help children's charities. I mean, everything, because so much was needed, right? There were so many people that were falling through kind of, the cracks, and, had to turn to food banks. And so it's great to hear that sort of focus and recognition, frankly, of how a number of these small businesses do step up. And it's about supporting their local communities in every way, not only as a place to buy essential products, but also has a place that recognizes how important they are to that community.
Yeah.
One of the things that we haven't touched on as yet is looking at, wanted you to talk a little bit about the increased employment incentive under the Stronger BC initiative, and how that will help small businesses.
Yeah, we've, I look back over the last year and reflect on how much supports have come out from federal governments, provincial governments, and municipal governments, and a recent report said over 2/3 of all businesses are relying on some sort of government support right now, and it reflects the challenging time that we're in, and so we're seeing, in BC, we're quite fortunate. We've seen about 98.7% of all jobs lost come back to BC, which is quite remarkable considering we're still in a second wave. But it shows you how resilient our economy is. At the same time, it's also because of the supports that we've been able to provide. And some of those are, the tax credits for hiring or rehiring employees. I know that's been a real big benefit. Also, some of the rental supports, federal government. We had a partnership early on with a program that didn't really work out for small businesses. And then, we really advocated for the federal government to change their rent subsidy program, which I know is having a big benefit. So we're going to continue to monitor those programs over the coming months. And of course, it all is primarily focused on health. And one of the things we did here in BC was we led with health and we led with science. Because, and I give all credit to Premier Horgan, because there's many provinces where the premiers wanted to be the show. And Premier Horgan actually said no, because at the end of the day, we want people to be able to visit their local business, and they're going to do that only if they have confidence that it's being done by science. And so he stepped back and let Dr. Henry and Minister Dix be the leads and always give facts and be forthright on the information. And I think that's what carried us well. And we're going to continue to use that as we come out of the pandemic.
No, that's fantastic to hear. And yes, kudos to your government. I know that you're holding a little bit lower than a number of other provinces in the country. And, even as we have the variants out there, and, it's clearly not over yet, but the government has done a tremendous job. And, we really just wanted to thank you so much for your time. We really look forward, particularly in your portfolio, which, has to do with jobs, economic recovery, and innovation. We definitely, as convenience stores, want to be a part of that and are looking forward to collaborating with you. And we're always stand ready to, to assist in any way that we can.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I want to say a big thank you to all your members. This has been a difficult year for everyone. And we've all worked together collaboratively to get to where we are. And I look forward to working with you and your members as we think about recovery as well.
Thank you again for taking the time. And hopefully this is just the first of many, many further meetings to come.
Yeah, thank you so much, and stay safe, everyone.